Welcome to part one of our 2021 Moon Magic Guide. We will lead you through the first 5 moons of the year, the new moons, and the full moons. The steadiness of the lunar cycle reminds us to keep up our practice each month. As we become more consistent, we build up the energy needed to do more powerful moon spells. With each full moon, learn about the traditional pagan magic that gives each its name. We will leverage astrology and star magic by becoming aware of the constellations that the new moons are passing through, and the opposite constellations where the full moons belong. So, begin by identifying a major goal for this year. And let's start moving towards stages throughout the year. When you identify an intention, April is going to put a link in on how to do that on one of our blogs. Get a clarity. Talk about your will. Use phrases like, "it is my will." You're not asking a favor, you're imprinting that power on the universe. Your thoughts are what project your will onto the universe, onto the unmanifest chaos. It gives it form. And your emotions are what draw it back towards you. The connection from your heart, emotions, and your thoughts, your mind, in line and congruent, is where the magical power is. It is said that the ancient Greek sun god Apollo instructed his followers with the edict, "Know thyself." Working with the magic of the cycles of the moon gives the mage just that opportunity. The moon moves through things. The moon moves through the constellations. The new moon is always in the same constellation as the sun. And the full moon is always in the opposite constellation of the sun. So the full moon in Capricorn will be a full moon in Cancer. As the sun is moving through the constellation of Capricorn, during the day, if you could see behind the sun, if you could see the constellation it was moving through, if the sun wasn't quite so bright, it would be Capricorn. But at night, the Earth turns away and it faces its opposite, 6 months away, Cancer. The whole astrological set of constellations that the moon moves through, that the sun moves through, gives a symbolic picture of all life. When you work your magic that way, you will know yourself. We can explore the balance of light and dark, yin and yang, the hidden and the known. The moon shines into the deepest pockets of our soul and illuminates our primal instincts and deepest desires. Moon magic is the sorcery of the profound, often hidden, parts of self. It is the path to the hidden pot of gold, and your personal power awaits you deep within your darkness. Since early times, humanity has observed how the moon influences the tides of the oceans and seas. It's not a great stretch to understand how it affects our bodies, emotions, and experiences of reality. The moon is our constant nocturnal companion, even on those few nights where it is invisible, moving through monthly cycles, which support a blueprint of magical and spiritual growth and/or personal initiation. The 29 or so nights of a moon cycle are divided between 15 days of growth and 15 days of releasing, letting go of and/or destroying those things you no longer choose. So let us look at the new moon. Half of this particular podcast. And the new moon energy and the power of new beginnings. The new moon is about beginnings, logically. It can be the genesis of a project or practice, or the start of a self-initiation journey, building your magic. This is the phase to plant the seeds and set your intentions for the month. So get your ideas clear, get your intention for your magic clear. The new moon magic welcomes the challenges that arise on your spiritual and magical journey that help you grow. Look inward to identify the possibilities that become available for you and aim your sights upon them. Artemis, Bridie, or Diana goddesses and others in their youthful aspect, when called at the new moon, will soul journey with you, astral journey with you, on the hunt for the life and sorcery you choose. The 3 nights before the new moon are the ultimate time of banishing. The dark moon embodies the power of destruction to eliminate blocks to your magic and to your goals. Use this time to prepare yourself for the powerful new cycle of growth. See the new moon as that aspect of youth. Enthusiasm, drive, do it come what may. That excitement, that exuberance that you get from youth, it is really powerful to put your magic behind that, to put your goals behind that, to let that grow. When you see the new moon or the phases of the moon as parts of self, as the ride of humanity, as the ride of how human life moves, and you can put the specific energy behind it. So the new moon is about youth, and the Pacific energy is about exuberance, enthusiasm, passion, in that sense. The excitement about the life that's coming. When you can make that congruent, you can make your magic even more congruent. Hello, Kiva Clay. Steve, for some reason I'm drawn to the moon. It's like the moon be calling and talking to me. Well, the moon is calling and talking to you. You are connected to the moon. You are a magical child. You're a child of Mother Nature. The moon is our satellite, is our reflection. The moon's light looks deeply within our souls. The moon's light's reflected, the bright brilliance of our consciousness being the sun. And the moon is the emotions that touch us, that move us, that give us a reason for life. Of course, my friend, you're drawn to the moon. The nature of full moon magical and spiritual fulfillment. The full moon is when relevant parts of our magic come into being and manifest into physical, emotional, mental and spiritual reality. It is the time of inspiration, a time of love, power, wisdom and gnosis. This is the best time for soul travel and dream magic. As you step deeper into your path, the full moon is the pregnant goddess, bursting with the energy of fulfillment. It's a good time to evoke the wild god of the forest, Canunus, or the Green Man. As we draw down the moon with our evocations, it's the perfect time to shapeshift, particularly into a wolf-like being, lycanthropy. It provides a magnificent energy with which to realize our psychic potential. The full moon is the best time in the month to perform magical rituals and initiations of great importance, the life-shifting ones. The ones that move your life forward, the ones that move life on planet Earth forward. We could certainly do with some of them now, maybe. Moon magic is at its greatest potency at this time of the month. Let it radiate through you in the glory of who you are. Remember, you're a divine being. This is the perfect time for your magic. Our silvery sphere shines through the darkness like a bright lamp of divine beauty. Like an orb of knowledge and power, she inspires our sorcery as we gaze upon her majesty. The full moon nudges us to realize our potential in a way so profound as her rays reach deeply into our souls and occult parts of self. Understanding the relationship of the moon and the stars. Hello, Brittany. Would you say that moon magic is more spiritual and emotional magic growth? Would you say that moon magic is more for spiritual and emotional magic growth? I think it depends on how you use it. And I think it depends in compared to what. It certainly has a very, very powerful magical path to it. And particularly when you work with the seraphim or the fallen angel of the moon, Sariel, the path is really laid out to magical development. I like it because it's a monthly cycle, and within that monthly cycle it's one of 12 monthly cycles over a year, so it provides this kind of long-term build-up of your practice and of your magic and therefore your personal growth. But I would also say that it depends on how you need to or choose to work. One of the things, for example, I like about sun magic is its power moves. You have the whole cycle through a day. You know, you have dawn, you have sun at its height, you have liminal sun at dusk, you have the power of the dark sun at night. Its direct power is sun magic, but the moon magic is the healing one in that sense. It's not about burning through something necessarily. It's about really building up those primal deep areas, those magical areas. And sometimes working sun magic with moon magic adds another power to the moon, which is something that I learnt as a witch a long time ago to see how powerful that is. And then I would say there are other forms of magic, angelic and demonic magic, maybe for something more direct. So I see what you're saying in that sense, but I don't think it's split up quite that clearly. Hello, Sarah. Sarah Brown. I'm back to being really unfocused and stressed, and I can't seem to shake myself out of it. Are there any messages or advice for me? Not particularly on this podcast, Sarah, but quite happy to work with you on that. But what I do remember is when you were being at your most powerful, funny enough, was when you were working with our book on moon magic, our first one. It may be a good idea to revisit it. Understanding the relationship of the moon to the stars. As a rule of thumb, each new moon aligns with the star constellation that the sun is in at that time. So if the sun is in Capricorn, so is the new moon. So for example, and here it is, when the sun is in Capricorn, so is the new moon. Okay, each full moon aligns with the constellation opposite to, 6 months away from, where the sun is, passing through. So at the moment the sun is in Capricorn, so the full moon will be in Cancer. The opposite alignment allows us to call in the magic of both constellations in another expression of balanced opposites. As we balance our emotions and our minds, we can then open for massive growth in our spiritual and magical practices. Let's jump in. Okay, what we're going to do for each of the new moons and the sun moon and the full moons is we're going to see a moon cycle as new moon, full moon, okay? And I'll have a different goal on each one. I'm not necessarily suggesting that a goal on each one is something to aim for. You can work that way, it doesn't matter, but it is, you know. But you can also use all of the new moons and all of the full moons throughout the year over one big goal that you want to develop and gestate over time. One isn't better than the other. They just give different opportunities. And of course, when we really work, we work with the new moon, the full moon, the waning crescent moons, the waning gibbous moons, the waxing crescent moons, the waxing gibbous moons, and the dark moon. We work with it like that, sort of every 3 or 4 days, and really build the magic that way, which is something I would encourage you to develop. But obviously, a little bit demanding in the middle of a podcast to do all of those within the hour. So we're working with new moon and full moon in Capricorn, encouraging you to build your moon magic practice. Capricorn, so for the new moon in Capricorn, okay, January the 13th, so tomorrow. How useful. There's a clearing going on with Capricorn at the moment. I can feel it, and I'm sure astrologers around you will begin to note this. It's almost a clearing of the past, a purging away of those things that we don't need, that is happening right at the moment. I didn't really think about this when I wrote this podcast, but there's a real opportunity, if you step into new moon magic in Capricorn, of clearing those things that have been in your way. Capricorn corresponds to abundance. It refers to a cornucopia of plenty. It's also seen as the wild mountain goat or sea goat. It's the sea goat because of the region in the sky at night where Capricorn resides, the constellation of Capricorn. The ancients from all sorts of different traditions named that area of the sky the sea. The new moon in Capricorn then aligns itself with both abundance and wildness. This month is a good time to focus on manifesting financial abundance. Think about how having money would support your goal. How much money would you need to be able to create the time, resources, or freedom to have your goal? Meditate, perform a ritual or other moon magic spell to bring money to you. For suggestions, check out our blog, Manifest Money with Candle Magic. Imagine or evoke the wolves to howl in support of your intention. As the energy builds towards the wolf moon, think about soul journeying, shamanic journeying, astral projection, whatever you want to call these different techniques. And they're not quite the same. Evoking Artemis, the Greek goddess, ancient Greek, who was a huntress, or her name, Roman name, Diana, or Bridie from the Celtic tradition. They all have the bow and the arrow. They are all the hunters, or the huntresses. Go on a journey with them. Hunt your goal. Get emotionally involved in the whole journey, spiritually that way. Build it up. January the 28th, 2021 is the wolf full moon in Leo. The sun has moved into Aquarius, so the full moon is in Leo. We can work with both of them to bring about your abundance. Work one of two ways depending on your preference and experience. Either meditate, visualize, feel and write about the energy of money and abundance using full moon energy. Imagine your financial potential. Sense the abundant spirit, mind, emotions and body physically bringing money into your life. Leo the lion is about power, courage and audacity. Aquarius, the water bearer, is about emotions, abundance and creation. Use your imagination to sense these correspondences, empowering your financial intention. And you can do both if you like. Create a sacred circle with the elemental watchtowers. Now, I haven't got time to go into all of that at the moment, but we've got work on that. Evoke or invoke the power of the full moon and the powers we've identified just above, just spoken, of the constellations of Leo and Aquarius. So you can literally have your altar, create your sacred space, Call in the elemental watchtowers. Air, fire in the south, water in the west, earth in the north. Create your sacred circle. Evoke the power of the full moon as poetically as you can, because the full moon is poetry, isn't it? Evoke the power of the constellation of Leo and evoke the power of the constellation of Aquarius, because both are true on the full moon. Evoke wolves to howl at the moon to empower your magic. And sense the energies present in your sacred circle and state your magical intention aloud a number of times. Really evoke it. Feel it around you. You can even invoke the full moon if you like and really empower the inside of your body. But what we're talking about is building up the energy and then releasing it. And then thanking it, dismissing and banishing the sacred circle. Use the rest of the moon magic to transform, transmute, or banish any obstacles to the realization of abundance and money. So the rest of the moon cycle, I beg your pardon. So after the new moon, those days from the new, after the full moon, those days from the full moon to the dark moon, to the end of the dark moon before the new moon starts, use for banishing, clearing, moving obstacles to your goal. And then the new moon starts again and the cycle moves on. Okay, February the 11th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer and is a chance to examine emotions and to determine what changes we must make to achieve our goal. For this new moon, look inward to find your emotional triggers that are preventing you from manifesting your goal. Use meditation or clairvoyant skills, perhaps work with your spirit guides. Identify the emotional patterns that are holding you back. And what we're talking about here is emotional health. Set your intention to improve your emotional health. Wherever it, whatever level it may be, there is room for improvement. Then through ritual or meditation, use the power of the dark moon to clear all those limiting beliefs so you can plant the seeds in the new moon for new emotional patterns, new emotional power. If you think of the emotions, if you think of the process of magic and manifestation as your thoughts are the electro, they are creating the spark, they are putting it out onto the chaos, and your emotions are the magnetic, they pull it back, healing your emotional health, empowering your emotions are extraordinarily important parts of empowering your life with manifestation or your magic. As the new moon energy arrives, set a new intention to align your emotions to serve your year goal. You could evoke the creative senses of Aquarius to empower your emotional experience. Intend that all parts of your energy are aligned with your goal and speeding you towards its attainment. So your thoughts, your emotions, your words, what you say to yourself, are you in a place of absolute belief in your ability to create your magic, or are you in doubt? Are you in putting yourself down? Are you in limiting thoughts? Are you in the place that says, I can't do it? I know Steve can, but I can't. Shift those. Shift them into power. Shift them into emotions that are about gratitude, joy, wholeness. Not for any moralistic reason, but they are much more powerful when being magnetic on the goals you have created. February the 27th, 2001, Snow Moon Virgo. Bring the power of the snow moon to freeze the fire of anxiety and calm your beating heart. Connect with the energies of the full moon, nudging you towards emotional health at its full potential. Sense the beams of the full moon reaching down inside of your body, bathing and empowering your emotions, reaching down and enlivening your soul. Sense or invoke the power of the constellation of Pisces, bringing balance and stability between your mind and emotions. Find or employ gratitude for new abilities to create your world as new ideas and abundance of opportunities arrive in your life now that your emotions function at their highest potential. Say, creative forces stirring in me, with the aid of Pisces, set me free. Creative forces stirring in me with the aid of Pisces, set me free. Creative forces stirring in me with the aid of Pisces, set me free. You'll find that mantra in a book by Sandra Keynes called Star Magic. Feel, call, or invoke the magic of the constellation of Virgo, the balance of Mother Nature. Understand that Virgo, as the Roman goddess Porrima, introduces psychic knowledge and prophecy through her balance. Virgo brings renewal as the goddess of the fertile soil. All that dies will be reborn. Breathe into your intention. Focus it, breathe into it. That your emotions will come into alignment. Feel the divine love of self-healing. Again, use the rest of the month following the full moon to transform, transmute, or banish any obstacles to the healing of your emotions. Move anything that is in your way. Make it a conscious practice. Make it a decision. You're in charge, not your inner child. March 13th, new moon in Pisces. Okay, let's identify this moon cycle as empowering your magic. Call on the power of the new moon to give you the energy and know-how to become a mage. Imagine you're planting seeds, or literally plant seeds that you've consecrated, so your magical ability will grow. Feel the emotion of gratitude for how increasing your magical and spiritual abilities will help you achieve your goal. Gratitude for something in advance assumes that you've already created it. Gratitude for something in advance puts your body, as your unconscious mind, into the future, into the patterns of receiving what you've created, as opposed to the repeating patterns of the past and the projection of those patterns into the identifiable future, the assumed identifiable future that those patterns will continue to be patterns, because patterns are by their nature patterns. Put your energy into the future. Use gratitude to project you there. Use the absolute assumption of those feelings of gratitude for the power that you have created. That is the power of the mage. Call on the fecundity of Pisces, the ability to create the new magic, abundant energy, and that's what fecundity means, creation in abundance. Utilize the duality of Pisces so you can balance your new magic with techniques of powerful old magic rituals. Do both. Create new magic. Become a force of the development of magic, but at the same time, take from the wisdom and the skill and the magic of the past. Put them together. Strip away the dogma. Strip away the language that was about hiding magic because you might get burnt to death by the Spanish Inquisition or something like that. Strip away all of that. Take the core of it and use it to develop your magic. Use those ideas. Use those beings. Use that power. Will you be able to do it easily and immediately? No, of course not. Develop the skills. Turn away from this idea that somehow everything's going to fall into your lap simply. Go into that place. Go deeply into that place of I have all the tools availably ready, and as I step on my path and as I begin to develop my practice and as I strip away the nonsense from what works, through trial and error, through the journey of my magic, through the journey that I incarnated to step into. Watch all the gnosis start coming in. You, as you take those actions, will be filled with knowledge. Get past the idea that somehow you have to have all the knowledge first. It is not true. You can't get that knowledge without the action of moving through it. You are already ideally equipped. You are already ideally in that place of your magical power to take those first steps. All the rest of it is just herd mind limitation nonsense. As soon as you're ready to become a mage, become a mage. And when people talk to you about limitations and how you can't do this and how you're not good enough and how only some people are there, and they put it in this beautiful way that sounds very rational and logical, and how dare other people suggest to you that you should be able to do this when most people can't do it. And they dress it up to sound therapeutic or spiritual. Ignore them, my friends. They bring doom, they bring limitation, they keep you in the herd mind. Move beyond them. They're not that clever. March the 28th, 2021, the worm moon. I love the worm moon because I love worms. I think they're fab. Call on the full moon at its ultimate strength to enliven your magic and understanding as to how magic works. You see, you're taking the steps in the new moon, and the full moon can be your teacher. In 2021, the March moon will be an even more powerful supermoon. For this and the next 2 months, the moon will be closest to the Earth this year. The closeness makes the moon appear bigger and brighter in the sky and enhances the experience of its magical energy. Use her name, Worm Moon, to thaw the ground of your magical practice and fertilize your land where you've planted the seeds of your sorcerous growth. Again, do this through manifestation, or do it through full ritual. Do the ritual physically, moving around the room or the earth or wherever you are, or visualize the whole process in sorcerous wonder. You could even be sitting on a very, very busy train station when COVID isn't around, of course. Eyes closed, and do the whole of your magic in your mind. Or you could get your body physically involved, out of the imagination, physically moving, and do the magic that way. They both work. Call on the constellation of Aries to give power, abundance and strength to your practice. Allow this energy to build so you may create your life consciously in the way that you choose, adding a freedom to your reality. Imagine or invoke the constellation of Libra. Bring your magic into balance. Through powerful balance, we're utilizing each part of ourselves, mind, body, emotion, spirit, completely. Use the Libran energies of honor and ambition as you bring your yin and yang into equilibrium. Use the rest of the moon cycle to transform, transmute, or banish any obstacles to the empowering of your magic. April the 11th, new moon in Aries. Let's identify this moon goal as improving and harmonizing our relationships with others and self. Call on the new moon to bring you new opportunities to work and live in harmony with important others around you. Evoke the maiden goddess of the new moon to hunt parts of yourself that are soothing, loving, supportive and charismatic, or adversely. If you're unable to express yourselves in relationship, evoke her to hunt the parts of yourself that honor you, that are both assertive and balanced, powerful and still. Call on the constellation of Aries to enhance your personality in a way that's more powerful, abundant and strong. Create a statement of intention in the present tense, positive language of how your life will be with balance, supportive relationships, imagine, feel, and be grateful for the way that this ability will empower you and your year goal. If you choose any help for creating your intention statements, check out our blog, The Language of Manifesting, which I'm sure April will post for us, because she's fabulous. April the 27th, just talked about April being fabulous, 2021 is the pink moon, Scorpio. The pink moon is so cool because of the blossoms in the trees that are around at that period of time in the northern hemisphere. Evoke the pink moon, the blossoming of your personality and relationships. Use the supermoon energy to supercharge your intention. Evoke the full moon in the time of Taurus. Call for its power, strength and potency. So that's where the sun is. Allow the feeling of its fertility and abundance of experience and opportunity to wash over you. Use this magic source of manifestation to mold your personality and relationships in the way that you would intend them to be. Although during the day we're in the constellation of Taurus, at the night the full moon lingers in Scorpio. Hence the energy and magic of Scorpio is available for your sorcery. Invoke the powers of this constellation to bring you back, bring you luck, to draw forth your talents and skills, to communicate in ways that honours both yourself and empowers others around you. Use the rest of the moon cycle, post full moon, to transform, transmute or banish any obstacles to the harmonization of your relationships with others. May the 11th, new moon in Taurus. In the month of May, we are in the season of Beltane. If you're any pagan folk out there, the pagan festival of love and sexuality. Love it. This month we will set an intention to empower our romantic relationships. Evoke the power of the new moon to bring your new beginnings and opportunities, either in a present relationship or in a new one. Welcome any future challenges as they strengthen your magic and sharpen your resolve. Evoke the powers of the constellation of Taurus to empower and strengthen your resolve to experience romantic relationships in their most desirable way. Call for potency, fertility and abundance of self-esteem, and joy when your romantic connections are at their best. Meditate on how your year goal would be achieved as you experience a loving, supportive relationship in your life. May the 26th, flower moon, Sagittarius. It's also a lunar eclipse. This May we will see the magic of the lunar eclipse. We experience a flood of powerful moon magic arriving at exactly the right time. The flower moon energy will open our hearts to love and the experiences of new romances. While this new moon is in Taurus, its full moon is both in Gemini and Sagittarius. Call on the full moon to shine a divine lamp, a beacon of creation from the darkness of chaos of the unmanifest. Command this energy to blossom where you've imprinted the intention of your romantic relationships. Evoke the full moon to ignite your passions, desires and joy in all you create. As new life bursts through the ground, everything is lush and green in this season of Beltane, the honouring of your love and sexuality. Call on the magic of the constellation of Sagittarius as you stir up the manifestations of your primal instincts and passions. Like Cupid, you shoot the moon to realize your desires. Isn't that so, Sagittarius? Shoots the moon, but has the animal body, so it's all about primal desires and power. Use the rest of the moon cycle to transform, transmute or banish any obstacles to the highest realization of your romantic relationships and sexuality. So let us conclude part 1. We have travelled through the first 5 magical cycles of the moon in 2021, building your moon magic practice stronger and making it stronger each month. In part 2 of our 2021 Moon Magic Guide, we will continue to build the energy towards the realization of your year goal and the empowerment of your spiritual path. We have chosen for this guide to focus on only the new moon and the full moon. Check out our blog on the 7 magical phases of the moon for more on how to perform your own moon magic spells. For each phase, join us in our FB group for daily encouragement in your exploration of the magic of the sun, moon, and stars. Do you have any questions? Hello, Lee. Now back onto the page so I can see the questions for myself. Shared, thank you. Hello, Juliet. Hello, Judy. Okay, guys. I'm going to close this podcast now. Been great working with you. Take care. Where are we? We're Tuesday. So, the last class on Thursday for the powerful clairvoyance. You're in for a cracker if you're one of our students. And obviously our spirit on Sunday, followed by the podcast next week. Take care, everyone. Speak to you soon.